There's a hand in front of it.
Oh.
Hello, Facebook. We're trying to get onto Instagram. Hold on.
Oh. You just talk to Facebook.
Okay, I'm just talking to Facebook. Hi, Facebook. I don't think anyone's on quite yet. And no one is. There we go. So it's Red-Faced McGee here, otherwise known as Bruce Summers. And I'm just sort of vamping because we got to get Instagram going. So today I'm back talking about Wellis Air because we just got a new shipment of units. And I got to thank you all. Everyone has been so positively receptive to Wellis Air. And I get really excited with every sale, not because we're looking to make tons of money, but because, gosh, everyone's so protected. So many of you know that our daughters went through a terrible mold toxicity, and they were allergic to so many other things, off-gassing and things like this. So when Wellis Air came into our lives, just by accident, I was advertising for them. I understood it, and I understood the impact it could have on families, particularly kids across the country. So thank you. I really heartfelt thank you. I really appreciate it. So for people who are new or who haven't seen me discuss Wellis Air before, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it and tell you what the sort of gold standard has been, and that's HEPA filters. A lot of people will have air purifiers in their home, and how those work, HEPA filter based, is they circulate the air. So the higher the fan is, the more air that circulates, and that goes through a filter. When it goes through a filter, it captures those particulates of viruses and bacteria. It does capture some of that stuff. All that stuff stays living on that filter. So a lot of people think, okay, it's done. What you have to remember is at some point you have to replace the filter or clean it, depending on the model, the manufacturer that you get. And a lot of people don't realize you don't want to touch that. That is just nasty, disease-filled stuff. If you put a mask on and rubber gloves, and ideally do it outside, that's your safest bet. With Wellis Air, it doesn't rely on air circulation. It relies on sitting there and doing its thing. Right out of here, and right now you can see it's orange. I just plugged this in. It took about 5 minutes to cycle through, and it sets itself up. And then it starts to immediately clean the air. When it's cleaning the air, it's sending out these hydromolecules. Basically, the easy sort of technical way of explaining it is out in nature, sun hits water, a lake, an ocean, a stream, whatever, and it splits H2O into OH and H, because H2O is two H's, two hydrogens and an oxygen. And this is how nature cleans itself. Nature then sends these OH molecules out, and they look for another hydrogen, so that they become water again. So it's this wonderful circular activity, a circular sort of response that nature does. Well, in the process, the OH will steal a hydrogen from anything it encounters. And it encounters viruses, bacteria, mold, VOCs, which are off-gassing. If you have new carpet, that's that new carpet smell, which I kind of like. Turns out it's really harmful for you, so you want to capture those and kill them. New paint. Again, I like all these things. They're really terrible for you. I love the smell of gasoline.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad for you. When we were kids, I got to go water skiing a couple of times. I was terrified of water skiing, but I loved refilling the boat because boat fuel had a special smell. Well, that's all carcinogenic, and that is a VOC. This will kill those VOCs. And
At what level?
at 99.9%. So when it comes in contact with a virus or a bacteria or a VOC or mold, it steals the hydrogen from that. So it makes that molecule inert. It makes it neutral. and that molecule then is not harmful to you. So that there isn't a virus on Earth known to man that can survive without hydrogen. So when it steals the hydrogen, you're killing those viruses. We have studies done, with our latest issue with viruses with COVID, and it kills 99.9% of COVID. Yes, Caroline in the back.
Nancy on Instagram said, Bruce, I have to tell you my cartridges just arrived. I was off and ordering, and I've had sinus headaches for 2 days. If anyone is not sure about this product, don't be. It really does work. Amazing.
I'm so happy, Nancy. Thank you.
A lot of people are saying if they ordered right at the beginning that it's time to get their cartridges. So can you talk a little bit about the cartridge?
All you have to do is order a cartridge. We actually have them on subscription. So if you order them, you get 10% off. These last for 90 days. 90 days running the machine 24/7 continuously. If you turn it off, it pauses that 90 days. The reason it's 90 days is because once you take the top off and expose it, any longer than that, and it would start to lose its efficacy. So some people are actually emailing or calling customer service and saying, hey, the 90 days are up, but there's still some liquid down at the bottom. That's actually very normal. We've designed these, or the manufacturers designed these, so that there's enough liquid under the harshest conditions. The harshest conditions are going to be literally like if you're in the Bahamas, high humidity, high heat, so it's going to use up more of that liquid inside faster. But in a dry, arid area like Los Angeles or the desert, there's going to be a lot more liquid in the bottom. It doesn't mean that you're wasting the liquid. It means that if that liquid was in the cartridge for longer than 90 days, it would start to lose its efficacy. So we have a chip in the back of the cartridge that turns it off in 90 days. So it's 90 days of continuous use, and then you just simply, in the back, there's a door here, and I can do it, but we're gonna miss our orange light. Don't do it? You don't want me to do it?
Let it turn blue.
Okay, let's let it turn blue. But you just take the door off and you put the cartridge in and throw out the cartridge.
So no messy filter.
No messy filter. You don't need gloves. You don't need a mask. Literally, it's this size. You put it in. You take the old one out and you put the new one in, and boom, you're done. It takes all of 2 seconds. And it won't run without it. So you want to make sure you always have at least one on hand. And because what's in here, we have a scented, barely scented version that has a slight orange citrus. And I want to manage expectations. It's barely scented. You have to put your nose right up to it to smell it, because we're not selling something that's changing the smell of your air. We're selling something that is actually killing viruses, bacteria, mold, and VOCs. And we also have an unscented version. A lot of people, even that slight scent, are just scent averse, are very sensitive. So we heard you and we started making these cartridges. And these are the default cartridges, so that if you order a unit, you're going to get unscented. If you want scented, then you have to specifically mark barely scented.
So Jill is asking, she said her cartridge was half full. So if it's half full, can she keep using that cartridge?
If it turned off, let us know in customer service, because that's an anomaly. Half full, it shouldn't turn off. I mean, the most that I've ever seen is maybe 3/4 of an inch, maybe, 3/8 of an inch, maybe half an inch, maybe. But there's you can't stick it back in because there's a chip in the back that turns it off after 90 days. And that's really just so that you always have the most efficacious cartridge in the unit. So reach out to customer service if you have half. That may be an issue with that cartridge, and if there's any issue, we'll send you a new one. I want everyone, some people have had, and we are still growing, but really growing fast. But as you go through some growing pains, if anyone has an issue, reach out. We're as receptive as we can be. We like to answer customer service within 24 hours, and then we'll get back to you. If there are any issues with your unit, obviously we stand by our warranty. We replace it. I don't hesitate.
friend said she got her new cartridge on auto ship, but the red light hasn't gone off yet. So should she wait until the red light comes on?
Yes, there is a red light, and maybe in future versions I will change it. It looks like a light, and it's right here, and it's not on because I don't need it. This cartridge is brand new. It looks like something's wrong. All it is saying is change your cartridge. It's the one right at the end that says it has a little exclamation point with a triangle. So when you see that, that's when you replace the cartridge. And that's why we always say have one on hand, because that'll happen at 90 days on the dot, and keep them in your refrigerator. You don't have to. It's not imperative, but what's in here is natural. This is the unscented is a proprietary solution of hydrogen peroxide, which is a natural substance, and the barely scented is a proprietary blend of D-limonene, which is a citrus oil. And both of these are natural substances, so keep them in the refrigerator.
So Dana said that she has hers on sleep mode sometimes. So does the cartridge not use as much fluid if it's on sleep mode? So does she still change it at 90 days?
Great question.
Or will the red light go on and tell her?
Great question. The red light will always tell you it's time to change it. You're actually not saving cartridge when you put it on sleep mode. What you're actually doing is turning off the VOC meter. This meter right here, right now that it's orange, and it will change periodically from, what you want is blue, that means the air is stable, but sometimes it's orange and that means it's working. It detects less than 10% of difference in the VOC level, and red means it's more than 10%. When you put it into night mode, which I can do right here, it's right next to the power button, it's not going to reset it. What?
It doesn't change it's not going to delay it turning blue?
No, it doesn't change it at all.
Okay.
So right now, all I've done is turn off the VOC meter, which has its own fan. The VOC meter needs to actually get a little bit of circulation going so that it can measure VOCs in the air, off-gassing, paints, formaldehyde that's in a lot of wood floors.
Pet dander, allergens?
Pet dander and allergens, some of which are VOCs. VOCs are volatile organic compounds. So if you use any essential oils, believe it or not, essential oils are VOC. So you want to use them sparingly. If you're around this, it will often turn orange or red. And you don't need to be that alarmed because they're essential oils. So I turn it back on, it goes right back to the state it was in, which is orange. And all that's doing is turning on and off the fan for the VOC. Inside, there's a separate fan for the what's called a hydroxyl generator. And that's what's sending out the OH, the hydromolecules that do all the dirty work. They kill all the viruses and bacteria. So that's working no matter what. You could leave the VOC meter off all the time if you didn't care about getting that visual feedback, and you would still be getting the same efficacy from the hydromolecules going out and killing viruses, bacteria, mold, and VOCs. They're killing it, they're just not measuring it. I hope that's clear. Is that clear?
Jill said, please don't change anything. I think everything works and is very simple. I understand if it needs improvement, however, just don't change anything.
Okay. All right. We won't change a thing.
She doesn't want the price. She doesn't want you to change something and have the price go up. Can we talk a little bit about price comparison? Because
sure.
I know one of the most highly visible air purifiers out there. Can you talk about that silver round one?
Yeah.
How much it costs and what it covers?
There is a silver round HEPA-based filter, and it's kind of the darling of the industry. Now, let me say, HEPA is not bad. We're not replacing something that's bad. What we're doing is adding something that HEPA can't do. HEPA is going to circulate the air and trap those contaminants on a filter, which needs to be replaced or completely disinfected. Air purifying is kind of an anomaly. It's really air capturing. That's what those do. This actually disinfects the air. So the price for these is, we have it on sale for $3.99 to everyone through Suzanne Summers. This is like we automatically, we bought them and we were supposed to sell them at $4.99 and we knocked it down to $3.99. The other leading air purifiers, which are out there, which are HEPA based, are usually around $8,000-$9,000. You can buy really super cheap ones online. With those, you get what you pay for, $150. But they're really not that effective at even capturing the big particles that HEPA is known to do.
Okay, so the most popular machine, the silver one.
Yes.
How much does it cost and what does it cover?
It covers about the same, 1,000 square feet, and depending on which little special feature benefits you get, it's anywhere from $800 to $1,000. So even for the less expensive, this is half the price. And it's doing something that the others can't claim. This is literally disinfecting the air and, surfaces.
Do HEPA filters provide any cleanliness for?
HEPA filters do not clean surfaces. They do not disinfect. Anything that's airborne, they try to, if it gets in that air circulation, they pull it out of the air.
It turned blue.
Turn blue. So now our air is stable, and that was pretty quick. Now, to be honest, we have one in this room already, so it's doing double duty, so it's going to get there quicker. I want to let you know, a lot of people will say, hey, we just got ours and it's been red for an hour, it's been orange for 4 hours. That first time, it takes a long time to stabilize your air. That's the first time it's going out and cleaning. And these molecules, they expand to the size of your room. So they're going to expand. Yes, Caroline in the back.
Christine said we use both Dyson HEPAs and both of our Wellis Airs, which is great.
Great.
And Maxine said, I love my Wellis. It's pretty silent, even on regular mode. It's everything you say it is.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I stand by it. You know, this is the first venture that I've ever had outside of just plain advertising. And it's because I really believe in this product. And I wish that we had this when our girls were going through their illnesses with mold toxicity and things like that. Yes, Caroline in the back.
Carolyn said, we love our Wellis Air. Silent.
I want it. There is a slight hum. So it's not without sound, but think about HEPA filters. They are so loud, these huge fans. And by the way, here's a dirty little thing that the HEPA industry doesn't let you know. When you see it's rated at 99% effective on capturing airborne particulate matter, that's only true when it's on full, when it's on high. So the loudest setting is when they can make that claim. A lot of people, ourselves included, you sit there and go, well, it's just too loud. I'm gonna cut it in half. I'm just gonna turn it down to 50% because I'll deal with 50% of the efficacy. That's not true. I've learned in my research in this industry that you turn it down to 50%, the efficacy can be down as low as 20%. So if you turn it below 50%,
so if you turn it to low,
you might as well not have it on. You're not doing anything except using up electricity. And, by the way, using a lot of electricity. This guy, or gal, genderless, is either only uses 3.6 watts per day. So that's basically nothing. That's less than a flashlight. And HEPA filters typically use about 100 watts a day. And you have to run them all the time. Yes?
Dana said, my husband and I woke up in the middle of the night due to some allergies, and I noticed someone had turned off the Wellis Air. I turned it on immediately, and then we slept great.
That's fantastic. That's exactly why you want to get a Wellis Air. There's a lot of invisible stuff in the air, and we're walking through our homes. Our homes are the air inside homes are 5 times more polluted than outside air, typically. Now, there's a fire in Northern California, and we already in Southern California have an air quality warning. Those of you who have been following me and Caroline presenting this know that we went out to New York in the middle of those terrible air quality situations with the Canadian fires. So fires are an issue. Wellis Air is really amazing at clearing the smoke not just the smoke itself and changing the carcinogenic factor of the smoke, but also changing the smell, because smells have hydrogens attached to it. So when you take the hydrogen, then you're actually taking away the smell. In fact, off camera, Caroline right now is doing her nails, and she has the solvent that gets all your nail polish off. I'm sitting right here, I can't smell it. That's amazing, because usually that fills a room.
Yeah, it's also Suzanne 10 toxin free.
Okay, it's toxic free. That could be why as well. You know, we're trying to be transparent
But
here.
sometimes even toxic free things can set off the Wellis. Like organic essential oils will still set it off.
Exactly.
Because there are volatile organic compounds
Right.
can also set it off.
We had one customer this week who wrote in and said, I've had the unit. They had it on their floor, and by the way, we have ours on the floor everywhere. I can go on the floor, I can go on the counter. There's actually it comes with an attachment. You can hang it on the wall here, which it clicks right in, clicks right out. So it's equally effective no matter where it is. She had, hers on the floor, and she called in. She said it's been red for it was like 2 or 3 days. And so we walk her through the process. We have this testing, and we started to think like, I wonder if she has a unit that isn't working properly. And she said, my house is very clean, and I just had new carpets installed. And we're like, new carpets give off so much VOC, so much off-gassing, that this was sitting on the floor in the midst of off-gassing, just sort of really protecting her from the negative effects of off-gassing. So once we realized that, we said, keep it on the floor. You know, you have this extra layer of protection. Listen, we all have to change our carpets every once in a while if you can. It's really expensive, I know. If you can afford organic carpets, I think there are a few. You know, that's actually healthier for you. But, you know, we all, from time to time, do some remodeling, and that's part of it. You live with these VOCs, this off-gassing, and sometimes a little bit of mold in the process. This is your first line of defense against that.
Can you talk about how this kills mold? Because there's one woman saying, you know, how is this going to kill mold in my furnace? So when you say it kills mold, how much mold? Like, what do we need to know?
Sure. One of these units, it first kills mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are what are emitted from mold. So mycotoxins actually are mold is, I have a lot of respect for mold. If you have mold on a wall on one side of the room and you start trying to clean it off, it emits a mycotoxin that signals mold in the rest of the house. We're under attack, so start colonizing, and it's a self-preservation aspect of mold. So what this does is it intercepts that mycotoxin. So it kills the mycotoxin first. Once it stabilizes the mycotoxin, wait, what? Who turned my Wellis Air orange? Caroline was over there wafting her.
No, it's my polish remover.
Or the polish remover. She was wafting the polish remover. So this just reacted, and now it's stable again. It's blue. So it tackled that pretty quickly. So take that, Caroline Summers. Getting back to mold. So once it stabilizes the mycotoxins and turns blue, then it starts to work on what's more difficult, a multi-molecular structure of mold. Mold is very complicated, but it starts eating away at that mold by stealing hydrogens, but the hydrogens have to go in. Why are you looking at me like that?
No, it's very interesting.
What? So it starts eating the mold, and if you have visible mold, you really need to have that remediated. That's like there are some things. This is like it's a miracle, but it's not the solution for everything. Like if you have visible mold, and we have one indoor expert that we work with who says if it's bigger than like a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter square area, it has to be remediated. It can't just be wiped off and cleaned up.
So this kills mold in the air, but if you have mold in your home that you are aware of, that has to be remediated by a professional. This isn't going to go into all of your vents and go under your kitchen cabinet if there's mold under there and kill every bit of mold. This is for airborne mold, right?
Well, not exactly. If you have a lot of mold, I mean, think about mold is a physical substance. So if this is mold, it's going to start eating away at the outer layer of mold, but it can take a long time. I mean, too long for it to be healthy to get to the bottom of the mold. So ideally, if you smell mold, you already have an issue. You want to find the source of that mold and look for water. Mold needs water. So wherever there's some water leaking under a sink, under a shower pan, under your house, things like that, where your water heater is, those are usually a sign of mold. Also in your air conditioning ducts, we had that issue because the evaporation pipe from your air conditioning unit on the roof, it was in shade and it was not, it was dripping, but it wasn't evaporating, so it was creating mold and blowing that through our house. Caroline in the back, interrupting again. It's a repartee, honey. Tell me, what's the question?
I had a question.
What's the question?
I don't need to ask you.
What? Whoa! Caroline got really upset. I'm just joking, honey. The mold itself will, once you have it remediated, now you have a source of mold that could still come back. This will actually keep it at bay. So it actually goes into the floorboards, it goes into the vents, and it kills that mold that might happen again, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Caroline?
Mm-hmm. Melinda wants to know where you put it in the room. She has gas logs and electric heat.
Well, I would keep it away from the gas because that's going to set off the VOC meter. Like in kitchens, when you're cooking a lot, that sets off the VOC meter. When Caroline is doing her nightly stories, which are wonderful to watch, we look over and we see that it turns orange, sometimes red, depending on what she's cooking. But that's also not a bad thing because this is keeping the air clean. You can put it on the floor, you can put it on the counter, you can put it on a wall. But know that with the gas logs, that may set off the VOC meter. And just let you know.
So can you just explain how it disperses the hydroxyls through the air? Like, how did it doesn't really matter where you put it, right? Within the 1,000 square feet?
Right. It's helpful, getting back to mold, if there's a place where you've cleaned the mold, you've remediated it, but there's a source there, it's helpful to put this closer to it because it's always obviously going to be most concentrated near it, but it emits at 360 degrees. So it's going out and it's a chain reaction. As soon as it steals one hydrogen from a virus, bacteria, mold, or VOC, then it replicates and it goes out and continues to steal these hydrogens. So within minutes, it gets across the room and then starts to expand to the size of your room. So ultimately, it doesn't matter where you put it, but if you have a known issue, put it near that known issue so that it's kind of stopping it before it gets to you. And that's the key. We're just trying to clean the air before it gets into your lungs or on your skin, in your eyes, or anything like that. Caroline in the back.
Can you tell me how much the air purifier cartridges are?
Yes.
And will they ever be on sale?
The cartridges are complicated. This is the one thing. Let's see. There we go. Now it's in both.
You can change it now because we've seen it turn.
That's
blue.
true. I need to score that. Do you have something sharp that you can score that with? The cartridges are $60, and they last for 90 days, $59.99, which averages about $20 per month, so less than $1 a day to run the cartridges. If you subscribe and save, they're 10% off. I have to say we have flexibility. We periodically have discounts, deeper discounts on the units. On the cartridges, we don't because we get all the pieces here and we assemble them here in the good old USA and fill the cartridges ourselves. And then we put them inside the box. So there's a lot of labor that goes into it. So it's very hard for us to discount these more than 10%. So unfortunately, the cartridges will not go on sale, but the unit goes on sale periodically if you're having issues. If you are in the military, we have a military discount. Also, if you are, and I'm going rogue here, if you are a teacher and you're buying this for your classroom, or you're a parent and you're buying it for your kid's classroom, send us a picture and we will refund you $100. That's my gift. I want them in every classroom. I wish my kids had this in the classroom because that's where we found the mold in one of their school classrooms.
And you can bet the school told us there was no mold in there. You can bet they did a test.
Yes.
And they came back and said, amazing, there's no mold.
It's one of those things.
I offered to bring in a different testing company. They said no.
There's so much liability with people, with schools admitting that there's mold, and I get it, and schools are hanging on. I don't want to pick on schools. There are a lot of old schools, and in those old schools, you're going to get mold, and especially where it's high humidity or the windows are closed a lot, so you don't have nature bringing in hydroxyls. Yes, Caroline?
I just let you know when I have a comment.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to stop what you're saying. I'm just
I have so much respect for you. When you raise your hand...
Yeah, no, I'm just letting you know. Do you want to finish?
Yes. So getting these into schools so that the school doesn't have to admit there's a mold. And you know what? Maybe they don't even know it. I appreciate that. But if I was a parent, I'd want to put one of these in my school. So send us a picture of it. And if you want to post it on your Instagram, I really want to spread the word. We want to take care of teachers, and I don't want teachers to have to buy it themselves, but if you do, we want to take care of you. So let us know.
You're great for dorm rooms.
Great for dorm rooms. Our daughter, that's another story. Our daughter went to a dorm, and it had some mold, and she was affected by it. We didn't have these yet. I wish I did when I was going to college.
So Laura bought a 3-pack, and she said they are wonderful. I've been using it for 3 weeks. The air is definitely cleaner. I am asthmatic and see a difference.
It's one of those things where I love...
3-pack is discounted.
3, yeah. When you buy them in 3, because remember, these cover 1,000 square feet. And by the way, and we get this question a lot, 1,000 square feet isn't like, well, if I have 3 rooms, should I get 3? It's 1,000 square feet. If you have the doors open, it's expanding to that space out to 1,000 square feet. Even when you close the doors, like at night, we close the doors. It goes under the door, the little, between the floor and the door, and it's still expanding. It goes into your closet. It goes eventually into cracks in the floor if anything's hiding in there. So it wants to expand and keep finding more hydrogen and sealing it from anything, except humans. Perfectly safe for humans and pets, all animals. Yes.
What do you suggest to remove large particulates from the air, such as pollen and smoke? Do you run a HEPA system in the same area or farther away? I realize Wellis does not remove large stuff, such as pollen and dust.
Great question. What Wellis will do with pollen and dust and other large particulates, smoke, it will actually attack that, steal the hydrogen from it, and make it inert, neutralize it, essentially kill it. To remove stuff, if you have a lot of dust in the air, that's where a HEPA filter does a really great job because it's moving and sucking stuff through that HEPA. So if you can afford to have both Wellis and HEPA, you're killing everything in the air and you're removing the particles that are floating in the air. With Wellis, basically what it's doing is killing all those negative things in the air.
And then they drop.
And then they drop. If they're heavy enough, they will drop. So you want to vacuum. In fact, we had one indoor air expert say you should vacuum every day, once a week, I'm going to get this wrong, for every person that's in the house. So if you have 3 people in the house, you should vacuum 3 times a week. That's a lot, but that's her recommendation.
We have several Canadians asking if there are opportunities to purchase in Canada.
There are opportunities. As you know, shipping from the U.S. to Canada is a little tricky because there are some duty fees that you have. And I have to apologize. It gets, once we ship it across the border. Then there are different carriers in Canada that will get it to your home or your business. We don't have any control of it after that. So we've had a couple of people who've had some really bad experiences on that side, and I'm sorry that you do. We are working on, we hope by the end of the year to actually ship a container to Canada so that you'll save on duty and you'll be able to get them reliably. You'll get them. I just don't know what the duty charges will be, and those are charged directly to you in Canada. And we're also starting to ship to Mexico. Same issues. Yes, Caroline.
Dana said, thank you for making my air a lot healthier.
Ah, Dana. Yay. Yes.
Michelle said, I just joined. How much is this product?
It's $3.99. Usually $4.99. There you go. Caroline just put it a little higher there. It comes with a cartridge. Comes with an unscented cartridge unless you specifically ask for a little right here. There we go. If you specifically ask for a barely scented cartridge. And I was going to show you how to change a cartridge. So back here you have...
Can you show them how big this is?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people were wondering, because right now it looks so big next to me. It's really not. This, I have an envelope here. This is a 10 by 13 envelope. So this is something you put some documents in, right? 10 by 13. So that's 13. This is about 14 and a half inches here. And it's actually 8.5. There we go for Insta. It's 8.5. So it's narrower than this 10 by 13. So it's very small. This is about, very light. This is about 3 inches wide. And a lot of people have asked, can I move it around? Can I take it from room to room? Yes, you can, or take it from floor to floor. We have a couple floors here. We live on the side of a hill. And some people take it to work. The only thing to pay attention to when you take it to work is keep it upright. If you lay it down on its back, you can get some leakage from the cartridge out here. Let me change a cartridge so that you can see what's going on. So first off, you have the cartridge. You open it up. It comes with a wick. There's a little wick in there. I'll show it to you when I pull it out. And then you have a cartridge here. There's the liquid inside. And the first thing you do is take off this cap here. Now, and this is a great example. This cap, it says look for a hole. Well, there's no hole because there's a little wafer that plugs the hole. So take the wafer off. You throw the cap and the wafer away. Then in this little baggie that's in that little box, you pull the wick out. There's the wick, right like that. And I'll do it so you can see the liquid here. And you put that wick in there and you make it flush. If you touch the top, it's completely harmless. It doesn't hurt you, whether it's scented or unscented. There is the little chip on the back. I'll show, there's Insta, there's a little chip there. And that's the 90-day counter so that you always have fresh liquid in there. Oh, mine is scented, I just realized.
Barely scented.
Barely scented. That's how I had to put it up to my nose to tell. So you open the back cover, you pull the old one out.
Well, that's not messy, that's very clean.
And you put the new one in, and you're off to the races. The VOC meter will reset. The new one. Some of them will reset. We actually we're working on new firmware, and this one picks up right where it left off.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So
Susan
yes.
said, I love my Wellis Air, and I've noticed a huge difference in the morning when I wake up.
That's amazing. We the person who just commented on asthma. Obviously, we can't say that it helps asthma. But I'm hearing so many comments and so many people are responding saying that it's reduced the ill effects of having asthma. I was an asthmatic kid, so I can relate. Yes.
Meta Rosenberg said, I'm in Canada and I bought a Wellis Air. The duty was $179 in Canadian dollars, but honestly, it's worth every penny. You can buy the Wellis Air on an installment plan, as I did.
Yeah, everyone's eligible for an installment plan. It's through Shopify. We don't control that, and they do, but they're very liberal with that installment plan. Again, it's just wonderful to get these into homes so that we have this layer of protection. I think that it's going to help cut down on a lot of sort of everyday ailments. I can't claim that, but it feels that way. And now, if you're feeling good, you're not calling the doctor as much. Yeah.
Well, and if it's killing bacteria and viruses,
You're taking the load down.
yeah, exactly. RNC Bunny wants to know if you
Bunny.
have to keep the windows closed while you're using it. We get that question a lot.
Yeah, it's a good question, and no, you don't have to. Obviously, if it's a very windy day, that those hydroxyls are going to be blown around. These are just molecules. This is exactly what happens when you're out in the forest or walking along a lake. There are tons of hydromolecules that are floating around then, and they're looking for other molecules and stealing their hydrogen to become water again. If the windows are open, now it's starting to expand, and some of it will go outside of the windows, but we have our doors open during the day, and then we close them at night when we go to sleep, and it works great. Yes.
Are You For Real said, interesting, it's amazing how you were living with toxins and not aware of it. I have a 1,400 square foot apartment. Do I need more than one, or will one be enough?
I would start with one because there may be like a corner of your house, or some of that is closets, and it's not as necessary. And then if you're feeling the positive effects, you can add another one later. More like if you had two and doubled it up, it does not hurt you. In fact, we have studies that show that it actually works harder on mold, i.e. it works faster on mold. Mold is very complicated. But start with one. You should be good for a while.
Q Banster said, I'm going to have to order it for my mom. She suffers from horrible allergies. This will be her early Christmas gift.
Aww.
What an incredible gift.
Yeah.
The gift of clean air. I mean, you guys know how much Suzanne has talked about toxins and how we can help eliminate toxins. Like, it's all, it's a little here, a little there, but indoor air is a big one.
Well, and God bless everyone who listens to my mom and is now putting toxic-free lotions and skincare on their skin with the supplements. You're detoxifying your body and making that healthy. The one thing that's very hard to control is our air quality. We are subject to what's happening outside, whether you live near an industrial. We're not that many miles away from the city of industry. Do you think they make stuff there? I'm all for making stuff, but there's a lot of chemicals that are emitted in the process of making a lot of textiles. And fire. Every time there's fire, we really encourage people to get this, because we had Caroline Blazowski, who's an indoor air expert. She was in the middle of the severe air quality issues in New Jersey. I don't know if you know, but the air quality index goes from 0 to 500. Her outdoor air quality was 498. She showed it to me. That's as bad as it gets. That's the highest it's ever been recorded in New Jersey. Inside, it was down to 30 because she had this. And she couldn't smell the fire. So she could see the smoke outside and hardly see the sun. And she wasn't smelling fire inside. So if you're in a fire-prone area with smoke, I highly suggest getting Wellis Air.
People would like to know how your mom is.
My mom is sweet. My mom is just so sweet, and she's still going through some recovery, but she feels everyone's love, and she's, even when
I had a nice long talk with her yesterday.
I had a long talk with her, and she just wants everyone to know that she loves them, and she feels it, and she kept telling me how much she loves me, which I love to hear, and I don't have to, because I know how much my mother loves me, but it was really sweet, and she's a warrior.
We're planning a birthday
Yep.
gathering for her with the family when they get back into town, and She's continuing to get a lot of really rigorous physical therapy.
Yeah.
She's tired, but
she's
she's
tired.
working hard.
She is tired.
We're going to get her like 5 cakes.
Exactly.
She loves cake.
Why not? Fine. We should get her 7 cakes, one for each decade.
Yeah. She's going to be 77 next month.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, Wellis is, I actually put a couple in my mom's house because with some of the things that she's been through, it's like, why not? Why not reduce the toxic load? That's all we're really trying to do. There are so many toxins out in nature, and we all get to benefit. We all have, new furniture, and we drive cars that require a lot of maintenance, and those parts all so often create byproducts that aren't good for nature. So nature needs some help. Wellis basically replicates what nature does. It's nature's immune system, and that's by creating these these hydromolecules that go out, seek out contaminants such as viruses, bacteria, mold, and VOCs, and keep nature at homeostasis. So why not keep the inside air in your home at homeostasis?
Well, it's true, and we're getting another surge in a very common virus that we've all been dealing with since 2020, and I love having the extra protection of having the Wellis Air at home.
It's
because at this point it's not as life-threatening as it was, but still it takes still you down. A pain in the butt. Yeah,
we have I feel comfortable talking about COVID because we've done some studies on COVID. In fact, an independent study was done at a U.S. lab. It's on our site, and within 2 hours it killed COVID on surfaces, let alone in the air, but on surfaces by 93%. In 4 hours is 99.9. So it's doing its duty. I know I said duty. And in the world of COVID, yes, it's not as life-threatening as it used to be, but I've had friends who've gotten the recent round and they went down. They were feeling pretty terrible. So I selfishly want everyone to have these in their home, in their business, so that when I go to their home and business, I'm protected. That's my own selfish motivation. You were about to say something?
I was about to say, somebody else had a question.
Something setting off.
Thank you for the installment plan. Otherwise, I would not have been able to purchase. You can do this in payments, guys.
Yeah. That is all through Shopify, which is the e-commerce backbone of our site and millions of other sites. So they handle that, but we encourage it. I want this to get into every home, so every home has this level of protection.
Oh, here's the question. Do you have a return policy? Melinda wants to know.
Oh, yeah. We stand by this. 90 days. Try it. We've had a couple people say, well, I'm not sure, because how do you know if the air is better? Some people feel it right away, especially if you have some asthma or some other effect. You might feel it before someone who doesn't. But if you're not really sure, try it for 90 days. If at the end of 90 days, right around when you would put in a new cartridge, if you're not happy for any reason, let us know. We'll replace it and refund you everything.
Christine said her furniture covers and rooms smell a lot less like dog.
That makes sense. A lot of people don't realize that smells actually have a hydrogen attached to it. So this is taking that hydrogen and neutralizing the smell. Perfume, you don't have to worry. Your perfume, it's not going to eat up all your perfume if you're going out for the evening or if you're just wearing some at home, because perfume is a lot stronger. The concentration of perfume is intense, so it takes a while. But smells, a lot of people put these in their bathrooms. Just saying. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Victoria said, I really appreciated having this during all the fires around here in Springfield, Oregon. Thank you for bringing this to us. I'm
so happy. That's one where you physically see it and feel it. The fire situation in Canada, I'm sending you love. And I think a lot of them are under control now. I'm not really sure. I haven't kept up on it lately, but I know it was really bad for a while. We have a new bad one in Northern California, and this is a real defense against smoke that gets into your house and all those carcinogens and everything that attaches to smoke, and the smell. So you're breathing cleaner air and you're not actually having to deal with that nasty smell as well. And at that point, you do want to keep your windows closed. I think that's self-evident, but keep your windows closed if it's smoky outside. Sorry,
I know you answered this earlier, but I think Vicki just got on and she said, can you run this while using a diffuser with essential oils daily and or nightly for sleep and health, and will it fight with its performance?
That's a good question. Diffuser oil, believe it or not, is also a VOC. So what we suggest when people want to use their diffusers is keep them at opposite sides of the room. That's ideal. Then you sort of create a balance between the two. But if it's like we've had some people who have a diffuser right next to their Wellis air, and the Wellis air is red the whole time because it's picking up on VOCs. A lot of organic elements also are VOCs. So not all VOCs are completely harmful, but this is VOCs, hydroxyls can't differentiate between the good and the bad ones. It's just getting rid of all VOCs.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through the pricing one more time. Here you go for
Facebook.
There we go. It's normally priced at $499.99, but it's on sale for $399.99. It's at SuzanneSummers.com. We do have FlexPay if you're interested in doing it on payments. And then the cartridges run $59.99. It lasts for 3 months. But if you sign up for Subscribe and Save, you take 10% off, and then it goes down to $53 and change. And again, that lasts 90 days. And super easy to change and clean and convenient.
Super easy.
And, yeah.
I mean, that part of the attraction of this is you're not touching contaminants. With a HEPA filter, when you clean, when you throw out that air filter, what it's done is taken all of the contaminants in the air that it can and attach it to that filter. It doesn't kill them on that filter. It's sitting on that filter. One last thought, too.
Yeah, do you want to put it on the ground, too, whenever you're done? So
Sure.
we can just show how it really does disappear into your room.
A lot of people, I think I've explained the HEPA filter comparison a lot. A lot of people, some people who are kind of mean about it, they're like, oh, this is just an ionizer, or this is an ozone generator. No ozone. We are CARB certified. CARB is the California certification for ozone emission. To get that, that's the strictest certification you can get in the U.S. in all 50 states. California being what California is. No ozone is emitted in this, and it is not an ionizer. That's not what it does. So when people say, "Oh, it's just an ionizer," it's not. It's brand new technology, except in commercial uses. Commercial companies have used hydroxyl generators, but theirs emits OH negative. We emit OH neutral. OH neutral is completely harmless to humans. OH negative is harmless except if you have metal on your hand or a ring. It will oxidize into your skin. Not really good. So that's why they're used for commercial purposes. This is the first non-commercial use of OH neutral to purify air and surfaces, and it's patented.
Can you put it on the ground
I
so we
can.
can see how it just disappears?
Will you follow with the... There you go.
Just tuck it back against the wall so we
Okay.
can just see how it...
There you go. It's
Yeah.
teeny. See,
Yeah,
there's
you
my
can-
foot. That's how teeny it is.
You can see when I go back here, you can see next to the furniture.
Oh,
Sorry.
we're going rogue now.
Okay, can you see?
Now I can stand up. My back.
Okay. All right, well, thanks, Bruce. That
Thank
was
you.
super helpful.
I appreciate you spending your afternoon with little Red McGee there. Sorry, I'm naturally red.
We'll be back on Wednesday, guys.
Anyway, love you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.